Alright. What am I doing? Well, the first thing I'm going to be doing is alright. Well, the first thing I need to work on is stuff. I need to get started with work, and that takes time. How many updates do we have to apply there, Discord? All of them? Apparently. Alright. So one of the things that we need here is basically the problem right now with some of the ETL stuff for Maelstrom is that they can't use the data because they're using a version of software which does not allow direct database connections to fetch all the information out. So what they need is they need the same information that's being ETL'd into the database to also be ETL'd as a CSV format. So let's go see what do we got here. So services, Maelstrom, telemetry. Alright, we're gonna, what we want basically is we want to take this information and expand it into these different ETL CSV files. And they want it on a per day basis. Gotta go download a whole bunch of crap. Alright, so this is Maelstrom. Game data tool. Alright, let's go grab our configs. Alright, so we've got this telemetry and we want to grab all these. Basically, what he's asking for a specific event, but I'd like to grab more than that event. Or should I do it per event? I guess I should configure it per event. Alright, let's see. Telemetry, and this will be CSV Maelstrom. Alright, so we need an S3 bucket, S3 credential, all that sort of stuff. So services Maelstrom. Want to go to telemetry. We want to go to, yeah, it's not going to be raw. Where should we put all this trash? And it's kind of operations data, but it's not operations data. So I guess I go to telemetry. Let's do ETL, env client, year, month, day, hour. Yeah, all right. We want the event types, and we want player rank to be that event. And do we want in environments? No, we already passed that in. All right. Hello, Karakan. Good afternoon. Okay, so the next thing, yeah, basically I need to put stuff together. We need a temporary file that we write to in CSV format. Alright, so let's see. What am I going to need to do for this? Basically, we need to write to a temporary file, so let's do boolean export CSV equals is IntelliSense just not working? There we go. Yeah, what I'm going to be doing first is fixing up doing a little bit of work for Maelstrom's telemetry stuff, then I'm going to be doing our telemetry stuff. For missions, I need to grab that data out. Alright, so what we need to do is, so string, this will be the CSV event types stir. So we'll split on our comma, and then we'll do we also need a temporary file here. Alright, so that'll make our temp file. Oh man. That's always the fun thing, is when you don't know when you have some of those things solved or not. That's just really annoying. Alright, so let's make sure to clean up that file if it exists. So create session report, and we're going to add in our export CSV and our CSV. We need our file, don't we? So CSV file. You're very happy for distraction. Well, good. Very good. So what is the CSV format anyway? Let's go snag some data from the telemetry server as CSV. I'm going to try altering this table. We need an index on, I believe, created. Let's see. How do we do that? Primary key, generated, unsigned, unique. No. Indices. Let's see. Let me just read about this real quick. So, you need a separate index on upload date. This sort will take advantage of composite index only if update is the first column in it. You can also try add user ID to the order by. So let's see if we can do it. Okay, so we can name these guys by their index. So Alright, I need to... I'm not super database man, so I'm going to make an index on time, and it's just going to be... How do we actually add an index? Okay, so we can just actually call it created and set it to created. There's an error. Invalid default value for reported. Okay. Well, let's see if we just locked up the database and destroyed the universe. That is usually a good place to start. Let's run a gigantic query on our game session data. Yeah, this is great. And let's see. Let's see, there was an error applying it to the database. Lost connection to the MySQL server during the query. Yeah, fuck. Oh man, that thing is toast, isn't it? What I'll probably have to do if I'm going to be altering the table like this is I'm probably going to have to drop the table and go re-ETL the data into it. Let's go make sure the server is still actually functioning and did not just fall off a cliff on fire into an angry reptile's mouth. Alright, so let's go to RDS and see what this database is up to. Alright, well, regardless, I can just take a look at a different data set and export that instead. Alright, so let's take a look at this data. CSV has got the column names as the first thing in the file, and then strings are how do we escape things? I guess how to escape quotes CSV. If a value contains a comma, a new line character, or a double quote, then the string must be enclosed in double quotes. A double quote must be escaped with another double quote. Alright, so if CSV file does not equal null, if, let's see, CSV events dot what contains session event dot event, then we need to add this to our events. We actually need to know the order of the elements. We need to grab all the stuff off of the object to turn it into a CSV, don't we? I don't really have a very good CSV thing. So let me see, what do I even have for my file utils? I guess what I need is I need a file output stream for this whole thing, don't I? Man. So one of the things here is there's too much information. There's too much information for me to keep it all in memory, so I have to stream it to disk as it goes down. Otherwise, I'll run out of RAM. There's just too much data. Telemetry systems are all about all the information. So we don't actually want the CSV file here. We want the file output stream. So the question is, should we make some sort of transformation that takes the values, or should we do something else? Also, let's see if our table got altered. Let's take a look. Let's refresh everything and close everything and see what we get. Doesn't look like it was able to index anything with that. So I'm probably going to have to delete the tables and drop all the data in it and then put everything back. Whatever. That can take quite a goddamn long time to do. So I'll probably blow the table away and do whatever. But I don't really have to do that today, because it can't sort basically on any of the objects, which is why it's all screwed up. So how am I going to turn this into a CSV? I need to basically go through, and every one of these objects we need to create. I need to add this to the templating stuff. I actually need to make a function that does this. So this is what? Objects? So we have to and from XML, and we want just a to CSV. Alright, so if this is not a string, then we can just keep going. Okay, so if this is a string, what we want to do is if the variable dot name if it contains a special character. So what are the special characters? Let's go to our string utils. Let's see, sanitize CSV string. Okay, so if input dot contains a comma or double quotes. So if input is null, then we're just going to return nothing. Otherwise, we need to return these. Basically, what we're going to need to do is input equals input dot replace all double quotes with 2 double quotes. And then we need to do it like that. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is b.append, I guess a comma is what we do. Let's see, we need sep. So we need to do wd string utils sanitize CSV string, like so. And we're going to need the string builder. I guess we don't need to include the string builder because we're not using it. Alright, well, let's see if we can generate that code. It's gonna fail. Variable type. The following is evaluated to null or missing. Variable.type.type. List object variables as variable. Well, let me take a look at a different template. Maybe it's M-type that I should be using instead? I didn't want to run option 2, I just wanted to run option 23. And let's see how much I added to this guy. That needs to go at the end. Let me see. Is there a comma at the end of this thing? No. So let's see, free marker, last item in list. I mean, supposedly this should do the thing. So why don't we just make sure it works. I mean, that looks correct. Is it building? No. We can't have arrays in here. It's else if, alright. Alright, so basically if there are any complex object types or stuff like that, then we're going to have a major problem. This thing can't be exported. So it's like if there's any complex objects or if there are any arrays, it can't be put into a CSV format, so we're just going to return nothing. Alright, so what is this getting pissed off about? I mean, that is most definitely a string array. Yeah, I need to set it to true first. Alright, I had an error in my script. I was saying, I wasn't breaking the loop. And as a result, it doesn't work. Alright, so what we're going to do is session event dot to CSV. And there we go. It's got all the stuff in it, which is pretty awesome. So we need a CSV header as well. So let's see, what's the CSV header? It's just the names of everything with commas. So that should be pretty simple. So we just append this. So that'll give us our CSV header. And this is why it's so handy to have code generation stuff. Because then I don't have to manually go through every single frickin' thing on the planet. And now I can CSV all the objects that we need to. Of course, this file has gotten extremely massive in terms of just how big it is, but that's fine. Let's see if we can make it a little bit smaller than it is generated right now. That's better. So now we just roll off into the sunset in terms of text. Okay, so what we're going to do is we want to write our CSV header. So and that should be a static method. So make sure we append new lines to it. Alright, so we have written to the file, and what we want to do is we want to put that file onto S3. So let's look at our config for this guy. Alright, so CSV Maelstrom, this will be our .csv. So it's going to be C get string telemetry.csv Maelstrom .s3 path, and then we basically just set all these guys. So ETL env client, yeah. Let's not include the client. It's just going to be env year. Alright, so we've got our S3 bucket. Let's get that from our configs. So that's going to be right there. Do we actually have S3 here? S3 path? Yeah. Alright, so this is going to be our temp file. So it's going to be CSV file. And then we have our bucket, which is going to be CSV bucket. And then CSV path. Okay, the other thing that I want to do is let's write a temporary file out there. So I can take a look at it and make sure it's not just trash. Alright, so that should actually work, supposedly.